Hey, how's it going? Now, this interview I've got for you with one of my superstar students, Takyi, is going to really inspire you. Now, Takyi, I remember actually when he was on the first webinar that he joined, before he joined FBA Secrets, and I remember seeing his name come up whilst I was doing this webinar, and I did not have any idea how to pronounce it. It's spelled Takyi. So I said, I think he commented whilst I was doing the webinar, and he said something like, "Good to be here" or something. I said, "Hey, nice to meet you, Takyi." I just so vividly remember him saying, "That's really not how you pronounce my name, man," and he like phonetically spelt out. The correct pronunciation, which is Takyi. Now, he's a guy who's really taken this business seriously. He's listened to pretty much every word I've said in the training. He actually also joined a group coaching program of mine that I ran in 2016. And from day one, he was really like working hard to make this stuff work. And this is why I wanted to get in touch with him and interview him for you. Now, there's a few things about this interview I really want you to take note of. Listen to his story, his past experience, and also listen out for a few of the golden nuggets that he's going to give you, which could help you really multiply the results you're getting in your business. He started out with very little, and as you'll see, he has got some crazy results. One thing I want to point out, a little bit annoying about this interview, is there's some like audio clicks and things that I had to fiddle around with to try and get rid of. Try and ignore those. The content is amazing. Okay, so without further ado, let's play the recording of the interview I had with Takyi.
All right, cool. Awesome, Takyi. It's great to have you here for an interview today. So I want to start off really just by asking about your story, really. So, like, how old are you, man?
25. I'm 25 years old. I live in London, North London, in Enfield.
Uh-huh.
That's near Tottenham. Yeah, I used to work 9 to 5.
Uh-huh.
It's not what I wanted, especially when I saw they increased the retirement age to 70. I said that's not for me. So I was just, online one day, and I saw your advertisement on Facebook. So I just jumped on a webinar, and then the rest is history, as they say.
Sweet, man. So is this your first kind of venture into anything business orientated then? Did you have any like background in like, entrepreneurial stuff or anything? Or is this your first kind of entrepreneurial venture?
Well, I used to sell. I had a tuck shop at work. I don't know if that would count.
Oh, really?
I used to buy chocolates and drinks, and I'll sell it for a markup at work. But
Oh, nice.
apart from that, no, I had no business experience
Yeah.
to
So this was
this
your
extent,
first.
anyway.
Yeah, this was your first serious kind of
Yeah.
thing that kind of kicked off. And were you looking to like get into business? Like, were you already always kind of aspiring to start a business, or was it just when you saw this opportunity you thought, I'll give it a try?
Yes, when I saw this opportunity, in fact, now you're saying it, it reminds me. I tried to do some. Actually, I won't even class it as my own business, but it was some kind of network marketing, and that wasn't going too well. It's just very
Oh,
time
really?
consuming. Yeah,
Mm.
very time consuming and expensive. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was doing before, and then FBA came up. I just so happened to be going through my Facebook feed, and then I saw that advert.
That's interesting, man. That's crazy. So network marketing didn't work for you. Like, I had quite a few people actually that join and that go into Amazon, but they've come from network marketing, couldn't really make it work. I mean, what was it that drew you towards the whole network marketing thing in the beginning?
Um, there was nothing special about it. It was a friend that told me to come along and see what he was doing.
Right.
So I went along. They explained it, and I think they made it sound easier than it was.
Right.
So there's a lot more work that goes into it. It's very time consuming, and in the end, it's just not something I wanted to do. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can make money from it, but it wasn't for me. Money's not the end and be all. I wasn't happy doing it, so I just stopped.
Mm. Yeah, man. So then Amazon really took off. So when did you actually join FBA Secrets then? That was back in
That was
spring?
February. It was February last
February.
year. So I'm coming up to a year now on the 25th.
Okay, awesome, man. So you've been doing this stuff for a year.
Yeah.
So tell me about like the first kind of like couple of weeks, like your first experience with selling on Amazon, like when did you realize that this was different from network marketing and other stuff that you tried before?
I think it's the whole system that Amazon allows you to use. You know, the fulfilled by Amazon. I think is with anything is always that first sale. When you get
Yeah,
that
man.
first sale, then you know, okay, this thing works. So from then, I was just going to the shops, buying products, and you know, that's not necessarily a boring task. So just go buy products, start boxing them, sending them in, and just try to send in as much as possible.
Yeah,
That's when I knew, yeah, this works. Especially as you don't have to send the products yourself, so it's leveraging at the end of the day.
that's it, man. And how long did it take you to get your first sale?
Well, the products arrived at the warehouse, and then the very next day I checked, and I had my first 2 sales.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
that's when I was like, okay, yeah, let's see how it goes.
That's awesome, and that doesn't always happen. Like some people send in their first shipment and like it's crickets, you know. So it must have been good having that confidence boost like straight away.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Because I remember you sending me a message. I think it was 2 weeks after you started, saying you'd already done like $1,000 in sales. Was that right?
Yeah, that's right. I so happened to come across products that were ranked well, and I was selling well. So yeah, I think I was fortunate. I know that for everybody it doesn't happen that way, but you just have to keep pushing, keep persevering.
Yeah. And which strategy was it then that enabled you to get so good results so quick? Like, what was the main thing you were focusing on to be able to actually get that quick result?
I was doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage.
Ah, okay.
I'll say more retail, but online as well. You know, I was using websites like Hot Deals UK, and I would just reserve the items, go and pick it up. But it was more retail arbitrage.
Yeah. Did you find retail gives you a bigger return on investment? A lot of people say
Yes,
that.
definitely. You know, it depends. You know, it ranges, but I think it's bigger ROI. You know, some deals can be store exclusive as well. So I would say, yeah, in comparison to online arbitrage and wholesale, there's bigger margins in RA.
Absolutely, man. So retail arbitrage was the main thing. Bit of online, mix them both. So once that happened and you'd hit that grand in a couple of weeks, like what was it that changed? Like, did you realize, man, I want to do this like full time, or was that your decision from the beginning, or?
Well, prior to me starting Amazon, I wasn't working anyway. So,
Oh right, okay.
yeah, when I started, because I just left my job in the January before, so the month before. So that was my full-time job.
Ah, so you decided right from the beginning, like you're gonna make this work. Type
Yeah,
thing.
100%.
And then it happened. That's amazing, man. Awesome. So tell me about your first few months then. So how did the business evolve from you getting that early success to kind of, did you make things consistent, or was it a bit ropey in the beginning? Like, what happened after that?
No, I was consistently sending stock in, reinvesting my stock, sending stock, and then yeah, that was it really. And then I done your course. I think we done that 8-week course.
Oh, the
So you were
coaching.
setting goals. Yeah, the coaching.
Yeah.
And you gave me a tip. It was a golden nugget that you gave me.
Right.
I pursued it, and it worked to the extent that I was doing $2,000 a day.
Really?
4 months in, I was doing silly numbers, but
Man, that's
that
good.
particular category, I had to stop because I found out the authenticity of the products was in question.
Oh man.
I didn't want to
Okay.
risk my account, so
Got to be careful with
I
that.
found
Yeah.
out. They were telling me it was real, but I said, I just had to cut it off. I was able to find out who their supplier was. And
Right.
the original supplier was telling me that they're not what
Oh,
what
wow.
I say they were, so I stopped it. If I can find an authentic supplier of that product in that category, then I'll hit that again. But as of now, I just cut it loose.
Right. So you got to share with me, man. What was that tip that I said that made you
I
get
don't
this
say
result?
it because I don't want anyone else to start going to look for those products.
Can you give us a general idea of what it was? Like how someone could get.
Products.
Sorry, mate.
Media products.
eBay.
Media.
Sourcing from. Huh?
It was a media product, like let's say DVDs or videos.
Oh, media. Oh, really? Okay. I don't even remember saying that to you, man. That must have just come out of my mouth
Yeah,
somehow.
I was sourcing it from eBay, in fact.
Oh, you were sourcing it from eBay.
Yeah, so it
Ah,
was
okay,
it
awesome.
was the tip you gave about you can find a lot of wholesalers and suppliers on eBay.
Yeah, that's where they hang
Yeah,
out.
so
Yeah.
that's the one I done, but it was a particular category on Amazon
Right.
that I mean, now I've done it now. I can see there most probably a lot of people on Amazon that are not selling the real deal.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's it, man. The thing is, things have changed a little bit. Like now, Amazon is starting to really want you to have proper receipts or invoices. So sourcing from eBay has changed a little bit. You can still do it. You just got to make sure your wholesaler's got like the actual invoices with the SKU on it, so you can prove it's real. So still a great strategy, but yeah, like you say, sometimes you can end up buying stuff that isn't necessarily legit, and I think Amazon have realised that. But yeah, so that's awesome, man. So did you just go back to doing more retail and online arbitrage after that then?
Yeah, I mean, I was still doing it. I think the error I made is that those products were so lucrative that I stopped everything else and I just focused reinvesting everything into that.
Right.
So that was really a wake up call. You can't focus on one category. You have to be diverse and spread your inventory as far and as wide as possible.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. So that's when you kind of realised that, well, building a huge and wide inventory and just getting as much stuff as you can from different strategies is important.
Yeah, definitely. You have to mix it up, man.
So how wide do you go then? Do you buy like one or two of each product? Do you sometimes buy like a few hundred? What do you have a general strategy for that?
If I'm trialing a new product, I may start with, depending on the rank, I may start with one product or one unit, or if it's good, I may start with 3 units. There's some products I have now which I've established they're good, so I can buy maybe 200 units
Awesome.
and just send them in. So it depends on how well it sells.
That's awesome. Is that mainly arbitrage stuff or
No, that's wholesale now.
wholesale? Interesting.
Yeah.
So you've built relationships with suppliers and things that you contact and you can get those. Is that, or is it just off websites or?
Well, initially it was from a warehouse, a cash and carry next to me.
Oh,
But
really?
by going there, I was able to, I'll just look on the products and I can then find out who who made that product, who's private it belongs to, and then I'll contact them, and then they just let me sell their products. There's some which I haven't heard from. I've been told that some don't like people selling on Amazon because they feel that it devalues their products, so
Yeah, I've heard that.
it's whether they want you to sell it or not.
Right. So you just chase them up. You just find a product that looks good and then you call them and try and get more, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's an awesome way of doing things, man. That's really cool. I never thought to back trace wholesale products like that. So I'm sure people are going to find that really, really valuable. Awesome, man. So you've been doing a bit of wholesale, a bit of arbitrage, and then sooner or later, a few months down the road, we hit Q4, right? That would have been, what, 6-7 months into your journey, September?
Yeah, roundabout. Yeah.
So tell me what happened over Q4.
Things just blew up, man.
Yeah.
Just blew up. Consistently selling. I know Amazon had said the deadline was 19th of December to get it in if you wanted to sell. So I was just buying and trying to send in as many boxes as possible. On occasion, I was sending 20 boxes a day.
Wow.
Blew up, man. Yeah, I underestimated it
Right.
in terms of not sending in enough stock. But now I've learned my lesson. So when Q4 comes around this year, I'm definitely going to be prepared.
Awesome. That's cool, man. So it was a big time for you. So right up until today, we're on, where are we now? Beginning of February, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea, mate. I've just got my head buried in work right now, so I don't even know what day it is. So how many sales have you done up till today, man? How have things panned out?
In terms of units or
Money. Let's talk about cash, yeah.
so far, product sales is at 104,817.25 pence, and that's in the UK. I don't know what the Europe is.
All right, so that's just UK. So you've got more sales in Europe as well.
I'll have to add it all up, but I'm not sure what that is.
That's amazing,
last
man.
I checked, it totaled 16,000, so maybe you can say 120k.
Nice. That's amazing. And any idea on the profit margins of that?
I keep it at a minimum of 30%, so it ranges from 30% to 200%, but I keep it at 30. If it's not 30 after VAT, then I don't buy it.
So you've crossed the V80 threshold now.
Yeah.
So how did things change when you crossed the VAT threshold?
I saw profits fell. As you said, 8 to 10% they will fall. But I think it gives you access to wholesalers more because I think they see you're a kind of a big player, so to speak,
Yeah.
once you're VAT registered. So I think they like to see that. So for me, it was beneficial. Profits go down a bit, but it's not too much. You just have to, try and find products with higher margins.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's interesting, man. So for those of you in the US who are watching this, in the UK and throughout Europe, when you hit £83,000 in annual turnover, you hit VAT, and Takyi's obviously hit that. And it can change a lot of things in your business because you have to start paying 20% tax on all your sales. But there's ways of getting around it. So people see you as more of a big player, right? They think you're selling more, and then they're more happy to work with you. So it's interesting that you've combated the V80 Fresh Hold well, man, because a lot of people just think, oh, I can't do this anymore now, I've hit that, I'm going to have to switch to private labels. But you didn't do that, which is interesting, man.
Yeah, man, you can still do RA on the way.
Yeah.
Just find different products.
Awesome. So have you started any private label stuff yet, or are you still just banging away with all the other strategies?
I'm still just going with. I'm trying to get away from RA, and I'm trying to automate it using prep centers. Not yet, but that's the plan. Cause I don't want to be boxing up all day.
So is this what you're doing right now then? Just handling loads of boxes?
Yeah. Just sending as many as I can. With the private label, I was looking at a private label.
Oh yeah.
I had done the research. I got the samples in, but I think at the time financially, I wasn't in a position to take the risk to get the products in. Because if they bombed, then there's a lot of my capital gone that I've been saving up over the months. So
right.
Yeah, I done the course, so I know everything. I'm just biding my time, trying to build my capital up a bit more, and then I'll take the plunge.
Yeah, awesome, man. That's cool. So I mean, I guess it's about doing what works for you right now then.
Yeah.
Just keeping the train moving, keeping that cash flow coming in. And you doing this all by yourself, or have you got people helping you?
In terms of the manual labor, I do it by myself, but I run the FBA with my family.
Oh, awesome.
So they put their input in. Some people put finance, some people put their time doing their accounts and whatnot.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you just they all kind of bundle in to help grow the business and stuff.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So do you have you paid yourself a wage out of the business yet, or are you still just keeping it all, reinvesting it all? And
No, I take a wage out now. I started taking a wage out maybe in August. Yeah, so I take money out. I started by taking out about 500 a month.
Oh yeah, just keeping it low.
Yeah, because I don't want to bankrupt the business. If I feel that me taking out a wage is going to deplete the funds, I'll stop taking money out. Yeah.
So you're running this out of a limited company, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's wise, man. I did that way too late. That's very clever. Awesome. Okay, cool. So it's amazing how far you've come in just a year, man. Like, what kind of what are you aiming for this year? Do you have any big goals? Like, do you have any in terms of earning? Like, do you have any big earning goals, or what you aiming for in the next 12 months?
So the goal for the next 12 months, we're aiming to have made a total of 450,000 in sales.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. We're just keeping it. Let's head for the 450k in sales, sending as much as we can, and keep going with the strategy.
Awesome, man. So I just want to kind of address people who have not got started yet and who are thinking about doing this whole Amazon thing, but there might be a few roadblocks or a few things stopping you. Like, were there any doubts that you had before you started doing this, that things you thought could go wrong, or maybe something you were scared about before you started that then you overcame pretty quickly?
Before started Amazon?
Yeah.
No, man, I just plunged head in. As I said, I wasn't even working, so I needed an income, so I just dived straight into it. I think if there was any doubt, it's a case of, does it really work? After you've paid for the course and whatnot, you want to say, does it really work? So, as I said, once you get that first sale, any doubts you may have about the system working, it all vanishes.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm so pushed, like with the fast start guide and just keeping everything short, so people can just jump straight in without having to obsess too much. Like, so in the beginning, how much did you think about all the details? Because like there's so much to take in, like bestseller ranks and how to create shipments and how to analyze stock, were you like really careful with the stock you sent in the beginning, or did you just buy anything?
No, I kept to what you said, 30,000 minimum. So
Okay.
that was my ceiling.
hmm
If it was under 30,000 at the time, I was purchasing it. I was using all the tools that you say we should use to analyze the products, and that was it. I just
Awesome,
kept to that, found out how to ship the products in, and that was it.
So how much time out of your week generally do you spend looking for products? Because a lot of people I talk to have trouble finding stock. Like, this is a big thing for beginners. Like in the beginning, they say, I can't find any products that have a bestseller rank of less than 30,000. I can't find anything profitable. And what I always say is it does take time. Like, you have to put in some time. So how much time do you spend researching stock, would you say?
I don't research stock anymore. I've got a VA that does it for me. So
No way. Oh, you started outsourcing. When did you get your VA then, man?
July.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
he
So
does that. For me.
they do all of that for you. So you don't do
Yeah.
any product research.
No,
Wow.
I mean, yeah, I don't. Even if I find a wholesaler, I'll pass it on to him, and he will draw up the charts for me and analyze the products. What I say for individuals starting, it's not going to be easy. I think sometimes when you start, you always want that quick success, but it's not going to be like
Yeah.
that. You have to
Yeah.
have to put the hours in. You have to put the work in. So just keep searching. And also, one thing I done when I started, I just maybe went to reduce section or the sales section. You have to go scan everything, because sometimes full price items, you'll be surprised how much money you'll make on them.
Yeah. Full price items, so not stuff on the clearance aisle then. Stuff
Yeah.
that's on all the shelves. Sorry,
Yeah.
all the shelves of the store.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great advice. So in the beginning, before you had your VA, how many hours would you say you were putting in?
Well, I was doing most of it was RA. I mean, sometimes I could take up my whole day. I may leave early, let's say 10 a.m. and maybe I'll come back 7 o'clock with the car full of products.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll drive to Reading from London and spend the day there. I'll drive to Slough. So I'll say on let's say 10 to 7, I was putting a lot of hours in. So 9 hours. It can range from 5 to 9 hours.
It's probably similar to me actually. Some days you just be absolutely going for it. Did you have that kind of drive to just, it works, so you just want to put in as many hours as you can, sort of thing?
Yeah. Once I found a product from a particular store, what I'll do was find out all the where all the branches of that store is around me, and I'll hit all of them and ransack it. Come back and send the box in.
Yeah, that's one awesome way of doing it, man. That's one thing I've put into the new training actually. Like, when you find a good product, don't assume there isn't more. Like, there will be more of them, and that's how you can multiply your results. So you were hustling in the beginning, man. So when you got your VA, did you find that your role in the business changed from being like a hustler, one man kind of? I know you had your family helping you, but did you find when you had the VA you were able to step back a little bit and it felt a little bit more systemized, or how did that change things?
Yeah, I mean, my research, I didn't research anymore. The only researching I'd done was, I just look at what my VA has brought me, and whichever ones I like, I'll order it or reserve it and go and pick up and whatnot. I'll just do the final analysis because I haven't shown him things like keeper,
Right.
so I'll just do that part, and then if I
Right.
like it, I'll go and buy it.
Oh, awesome. So you just give your VA a sort of set of criteria, and then he just chucks everything on a database, is that right? And then you just go and hand pick your favorite ones.
Yeah, exactly how you showed on the FBA Secrets. I just give him the criteria, what he should look at and what he shouldn't look at. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome, man. I'm really happy that you hired a VA. I didn't even know. I thought you were still doing it all by yourself. So that's awesome, man. That's really good to hear. Awesome, man. So I think we should finish off really just by asking about mindset. Like, if somebody's going to go into this and they look at your results and they're like, man, Takyi's like a demigod. Like, I want to duplicate what he's done. I want to do 120k in my first year with 30% profit margins and not have to work in a job, hire a VA and everything. What kind of mindset would you say that they would have to actually make it really happen? Not just like play around and think about it or fantasize about it, but actually really make things happen and really make it work. Like, what's the difference between somebody who would dabble and someone who would take it seriously in terms of mindset?
I'll say you need to be determined. I think you need to have that determination to be able to differentiate you from the individual that may want to leave the 9 to 5, or the person that just wants a side income, and take action. Take action. I had something in my head, but it's just gone.
No
I was going to
worries,
say
man.
something, but it's gone.
Did you ever do anything to help strengthen your mindset, or do any self-development stuff just to help you become more resilient and more determined?
Yeah, I'll say that coaching course I've done with you, when it came to setting targets, where we set how many we want to send in a week. I think that's when I saw my results increase,
Awesome.
because I had that system, if you like, that to keep me motivated.
So something to aim for
Yeah.
each week.
It's a goal setting.
That's awesome. And I remember at one point you were actually posting up photos of every single shipment that you sent into the FBA Secrets group as well, like every day. Something was going up there. So it's consistency. That's all it is, isn't it, really? If you can just gear everything in your business and your mindset and your life towards doing consistent action every day, it starts to snowball. I'm sure you had the same experience as me, man. Things really do start to snowball, like out of control. I don't know if you found that.
Yeah, they do, 100%.
Did you find like your sales were going up faster than you thought they were, or did you find it was an uphill struggle to grow things, or?
Well, when you first start, on occasion it's a bit, on off.
Yeah.
You're listening. Sometimes you get, £500 in sales, and then the next day maybe you sell £50 worth and whatnot. But I'll say you just have to keep going.
Yeah.
You just have to keep going. I'm now at a stage where I'm consistently every day bringing in a certain amount of sales, so I know I've reached a certain level, and then it's just increasing from here on out.
Awesome, man. Great stuff. Well, thanks so much for deciding to do the interview, man. I think people are going to get so much value out of this. Again, like I said earlier before we started, helps to hear it from someone other than me sometimes. So that's been amazing. So cheers, Takyi, man.
No worries, anytime, man. Take care.